Welcome to another episode of Curiosities Unlocked, where today we will be telling ghost stories, scary stories, stories that others have told on the internet. And I'm really excited because this is our final Halloween episode, and I'm just excited to kind of tell the ghost stories. So I hope that you like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. And so let's get started. Coming in at number 5, don't play with me. From the time I was about 12 to 17 years old, we believed that we lived in a haunted house. I never had experience like this prior to living here and even after living in this house. A specific memory that comes to mind is I was once hanging laundry in my closet and I heard someone whisper my name. I never sprinted out of a place so fast. Another time, my sister and I had friends over and we decided to record ourselves asking the ghost questions like they do in some of those paranormal shows. We played the tape not expecting to hear one thing, but instead we heard a very soft voice saying, "I'm in the closet." And we were sitting near a small closet in the basement. My parents eventually decided to sell the house. We moved into a new place. Before selling this place, my sister stopped by the house after there had been a few showings to kind of turn off the lights of the house. She went to turn off the lights in the basement, which had multiple switches. One was at the far end of the basement, away from the stairs. When she turned off the light, she swears she heard heavy footprints of someone running towards her. She ran out of the house without turning off any of the other lights. That was the last time that either of us ever went into this house. But one day we happened to be in the neighborhood and the new owners offered to show us the renovations they had done. Nothing happened then, but they did ask us if we wanted to babysit their kids, and we politely declined. Yeah, I don't know if the parents left this house because there was ghosts in there, but I don't know what I would do if I lived in a house or if I had bought a house and experienced this type of paranormal activity. Even though theirs wasn't a lot, at least from the story she's told. I don't know what I would do. What would you do? Coming in at number 4, we have the mystery woman. Let's go. When I got out of my taxi after being out, I stopped at the top of my street to roll a cigarette. I looked up and I see a blonde, mid-20-year-old woman in a white sheet draped over her. She looked right at me and she asked me what time it was. And I told her, and she says, "Okay." And she started walking really slowly. I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she turns around, and I will never forget her face. Her mouth open. She had thick black mascara running down her face, and her eyes were black and sunken. This started to worry me. "Do I look okay?" she said, and starts walking again. So I called my friend. I tell him what just happened to me, and he tells me to go find her and call the police because she may be in trouble. She may have been hurt. She may have been raped or robbed or something. I head down the long road, but I don't see anything. So I start walking back, and at this time it's about 3 in the morning. And I'm just about to head down my street when a car pulls up near me and a man is driving. I knocked on the window and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Did you see a girl in a white sheet? I believe something may have happened to her, like maybe she's been raped or attacked." And the man's jaw drops. "Are you sure?" he says. After giving him the full story, the man goes on to tell me that the same thing happened to his wife. But here's the strange part. This happened to his wife about 5 minutes ago, before his incident with the woman, at the other side of the village. Now this was a 15 to 20 minute walk from where he was. Happened to his wife and me at the same time. I've never seen her since, and the man says he was going to call the police, but yeah, every time I think about it, it just seems to get stranger. Like, she was barefoot, her feet were really dirty, but her eyes, I will never forget that there was no white, just black holes, 2 black holes with this big, thick black mascara running down them. Creepy. Yeah, I think it's pretty creepy too. That's why I don't go out at night. Speaking to strangers. Coming in at number 3, clean the closet and close the door. Whenever I get sick, I get the same nightmare over and over. Background story. My room has a bed with a metal bed frame, and I'm a very messy person. Anyway, so when I get a cold or flu, I get the same bad dream of a scary lady who seems to be in her 30s with very tangled black hair, fungus-covered skin, and glowing silver eyes sitting on my bed frame. I can't move, and she's just sitting there watching me for hours. She never moves, just sits there. Then towards the end, she becomes me, and I'm looking down at myself. So one of those times, I went to sleep. I woke up in the dream or in real life. I really don't know. And a gargoyle was sitting on my chest, holding me down where I could only use my eyes to look around. I was forced to look at my closet, which was very messy when I went to sleep. And it was exactly how I left it. The socks was on my floor, exactly where I left them. The only difference was there was a 7-foot tall demon-like thing in my closet with yellow eyes and big claws and red wings, with spikes like a dragon in its head. It walked closer and closer to me until I woke up screaming. I told my dad about this days later, and he said he has had the same dream years ago. It was creepy because we both described the demon the same way, and my mom confirmed that this was the exact way he described the demon years ago. The only difference was that in his dream, the demon tried to drag him underground. That is freaky. Can you imagine having the same dream, same scary demon dream as your parents? or anybody else, where you're telling them your dream and it's the exact same? Well, coming in at number 2, some things you just don't play with. So here's a few of my Ouija stories. I never learned lessons the first time. My mom is an avid auction goer. So she went to her local auction one day, looked around, and found the box that she liked of stuff. She brings the box home and starts going through it, and there is a Ouija board inside. I came home for Thanksgiving and decided I wanted to play with it. Because somehow when I was around 13, I found one in my room and I tried it myself, but nothing happened. So this time, I wanted to try it with her and see if something happened. So I insisted we light tea candles around us in a circle. Then we put the dog in the kitchen and boarded it up. The dog did not like the Ouija board before we even started. So we're all set, dogs taken care of, and we turn out the lights. We start asking questions and learn we're talking to a boy. I believe he said that he was 7, and his name was Tom. Well, I had just read not to let spirits go consecutively through numbers or letters, and he started haphazardly going through numbers. So I freaked out and we said goodbye. After saying goodbye, I kept saying to my mom, something's wrong. This doesn't feel right. I don't feel right. I was full on panicking and sobbing for no reason at all. I was just overcome with the most intense fear and panic I have ever had. Then, as quickly as it came on, it left. After the panic subsided, I insisted that we do it again. She tried to tell me no, but conceded anyway. So this time we asked if Tom was with us, and the board said no. I asked, who is it? And it doesn't move from no. I tried various forms of questions like, what's your name? How old are you? Are you a good spirit? Etc. It wouldn't move from no. I should have also mentioned, you never let the spirits move the piece in the figure 8 infinity sign. Well, it starts going in a figure 8. I'm sitting there zonked out of my mind, apparently staring at the board, but I couldn't see anything. My mom's yelling at me saying, we need to say goodbye. And I'm not paying her any mind. I'm just letting the spirit do its thing. She screamed at me again and shoved the piece to goodbye. And she said, borderline, say goodbye. So I responded with a very quiet, very gentle, very soft, nonchalant goodbye. My mom asked me why I wouldn't do anything, and I told her I didn't even know what was happening. She told me I was staring at the board and there's no way I would have seen it, but I didn't. It's also worth mentioning that the spirits wouldn't answer her. Even Tom, she asked if anybody was with us and we got no response. I asked and it shot to yes. So yeah, Dum Me decided to play with the Ouija board again after the first time that resulted in a complete disassociated panic. I should have taken the panic as a warning. After all that, my mom's spirits got worse. There was a bloody footprint in her downstairs bathroom, and it didn't match anyone's foot size. Oh, and it was also coming out from the washer and dryer. I don't play with Ouija boards. I'm a chicken. Next up at number 1, we have don't stop at the rest stop. Ooh, have you ever been driving on taking a long road trip and some rest stops that you just don't want to stop at and you know you probably shouldn't, but you do anyway? Yeah, that's what's going on. I was driving cross country with my mom and my sister. I was around 16, my sister was 20, and my mom was in her 50s. It was late, but we were well rested and alert. But we needed to stop at a rest stop. We needed gas, and my mom and sister needed to go to the restroom. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip and a gray compact car, like a Honda Accord or something like that, parked at the pump and right in front of us. 2 men about 17 to 20 years old were standing outside the Honda in hoodies, like statue still, not moving. The teenagers were to our left. When we got there, everything felt wrong. There was a deep and unsettling feeling about the place. And we had not felt that way about any other rest stop. We'd been on the road for days and seen many of them at night and had never been afraid until this moment. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I had heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was mostly watching the car in front and the 2 men that had still not moved at all, not even an inch. They weren't talking, they weren't on the phone, there was no light anywhere except for above our head there was a dim light, of the gas station's awning. They were just standing there, still as stone, not moving, not doing nothing. My sister and mom came running back to the car, and when they got in, the 2 men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear that we all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark, pitch black, and empty. Truly empty, not even black, not reflecting any light at all. Just a fucking void. We booked. We have not traveled in excess of 100 miles before or since. But that day, it was warranted. We drove until we were in the next city before we got out of that car again. And you want to know what the worst part of it all was? It wasn't the stillness. It wasn't the eyes. It wasn't the weird feeling that you got. It wasn't even the weirdo that kept staring at my mom and sister saying over and over again, "My mom would like you," while mopping the same spot with a dry mop and an empty bucket. It wasn't even that. It was the It was the fact that we couldn't even locate this place on the map. And when we went to the locals to ask them about the gas station that was on the highway, no one knew what we were talking about. We would get confused looks or someone asking us, "Are you sure it was the highway and not the interstate?" We've since traveled on that interstate and there was no rest stop. People, wait till you see a Wawa's or a really well-lit, busy business area for gas stations. I remember stopping at some kind of weird places on some road trips because we drove so long into the dark that we couldn't find anywhere appropriate, well, appropriate to stay, but we won't be doing that again. It just reminds me of The Hills Have Eyes. Have you seen it? So thank you for joining us for another episode of Curiosities Unlocked. We are excited that you have been here. I would love to hear your ghost stories. I really like kind of telling these stories. Please like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed this. And we'll see you next time. Bye.